So you want to go for a hack, but your horse naps. They pop up and spin, they back up, they plant their feet, they turn into a raging dragon making noises you've never heard in your whole life. Then you can't calm them down. You can't calm yourself down. Everybody ends up crying, you go home and you feel like an absolute failure. This is not the childhood dream that you had in your mind. And most likely the thoughts going through your head are, maybe I should sell them. My horse doesn't deserve me. I'm not good enough. And just a whole host of things that is just not good for you to ever say to yourself. Don't worry, I've been there and I have overcome it to the point where I couldn't even go for a hack at all. And now I can solo hack anywhere, anytime, doesn't matter the weather. I've filmed adverts in the snow with brands where Earl is literally there in a snaffle bridle and I've said, don't worry, I'll hack down and meet you there. And I wasn't scared because I knew we could do it. I've got an inflatable Santa suits out in the high peak galloping. And the best thing of all, I can just go for a hack. You feel like you're in a movie. It's the most amazing feeling in the world. You can literally be just hacking around the block. In your head, you're on some crazy adventure and it's the coolest thing. I really want that feeling for all of you guys. Let me preface this with, I am not a professional. I'm only speaking from my own lived experience. And you should absolutely always get professional advice wherever possible. And I'm not being held liable if you go and take this advice in any way and act upon it. I don't know how you're going to translate what I say. And like I say, I'm not a professional, but I hope that this can help in some way. So buckle up, grab a cup of tea, because this is going to be a bit of a long one. But for once, I'm not doing loads of parts. I'm not waiting for the perfect time to film the video. I'm just doing it. Because instead of doom scrolling, maybe you guys will learn something from this or take something that does help you to make a good plan for you and your horse. And then in the summertime, you'll be living that childhood dream and I will be so proud of you and you'll be so proud of you. We'll all be just cheering each other on. It's going to be the best thing ever, okay? So get a pen and paper, let's go. There are 3 things that you need to do before you go for a hack, or try to go for a hack, should we say. 1, check for pain, and I don't mean just like, is your horse lame? I mean, is anything not fitting properly anymore? Is something pinching them? They had the dentist, all of those things. 2, know your limits, and I don't mean just yours, I mean also your horse's. When it comes to you, you need to just know what you're willing and not willing to do. For example, if you ask me to go for a hack with a horse and you know that that horse could bolt, I'm not going. I do not know if I have the tools, the experience, the skills to handle that if it should happen, so I won't go. Maybe there's something on your route that you're just not willing to contend with right now. Maybe you don't want to cross, I don't know, a river or some water. Maybe there's a really scary farm that everybody's frightened of passing and things like that. There's always something, right? And until you feel equipped to handle that scary thing, just don't do it. Maybe it'll be never. Maybe it'll be tomorrow. Who knows? For your horse, you need to know their limits, and it kind of feeds into my first top tip for keeping your horse calm is to make sure that you start small. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to go from like not hacking at all to like a 2-hour long hack. You also need to know when your horse is overfaced. For me personally, with Earl, if he pops up and spins, that does not mean he's too overfaced. Usually if that happens, it's because I didn't set him up with the confidence in me. And when you talk about keeping a horse calm, a lot of it comes from you. Obviously, if you're going to take them somewhere new and they've never experienced something, you need to do it tentatively. So if you do realise that your horse is too overfaced, you can handle it. For example, when we were in the high peak, we had Duncan on foot on a bike with us, and Earl got so scared of some pigs. He's never seen pigs with me. I didn't know we were going to come across pigs and he would be scared of them. I thought he'd be fine. He was not fine. Huge thing to know is that if your horse is really heightened, it's not the time to be teaching them something new. Earl was so frightened of going past the pigs, he had to go through a gate. And that was not the time for me to be like, let's stand and do the gate nicely. It was the time to say, Duncan, please, can you give us a lead? You go first, Earl will follow you. It's like a steep drop down to our side. It looked like a mountainside, okay? A cliff edge. It was just a really, really steep hill, but there was a very steep drop next to it. It's not the time or the place, all right? What if he blindly freaked out or something? He didn't, but you just don't know, right? So you've got to be careful. You've got to recognise those limits in your horse. If you do go out and you want to try and keep your horse calm when they are spooking, firstly, you need to remember that spooking is completely natural for a horse to do. Have you ever felt that feeling of jumping out your skin because, I don't know, something just surprised you? Similar feeling, I suspect, for a horse. Our job in that moment is to stay calm, because if we see that it's not a threat, it's not a giant lion coming to eat us, it's just a bin bag or a crisp packet in Earl's instance. If we can make sure that our horse can look to us for the confidence, we'll be fine and your horse will calm down. My top tip so you can stay calm and feed off that confident energy. Use your leg first and keep that leg cuddly so you're not putting on too much pressure. Keep your reins consistent, but you're not pulling on them, you're not blocking their movement. Making sure that your seat is plugged in. So Lucinda talks about plugging in your butt. You got to have those seat bones on the seat. All of that helps you keep 3/4 of the horse in front of you, like Lucinda teaches us. And then you need to be ready for trouble. You need to keep your hips or your pelvis in front of your shoulders. You might be wondering, Sam, you sound like a regurgitation of everything Lucinda Green says, and that's because I listen to everything Lucinda Green says. She is my idol in eventing, and she talks about the why, which is what I want to know all the time. She teaches in a way that's like-minded with my coach, and so putting together the information that they both teach me helps me so much. No, this is not an ad for either of them. I literally pay both of them. I have been taught by Claire for coming up to 3 years. And I have been taught by Lucinda for well over a year now, and both of them bring the best out in Earl and I. We have transformed as a partnership because of those two people. Yes, I have been taught by other people too, but the thing is, you have to find your people, and those two people specifically have been transformative for my journey. So be ready for trouble, keep 3/4 of the horse in front of you, and look up. One of my worst habits. You'll see it in my lesson with Lucinda recently with the tarpaulin. Tarpaulin? How do you say it? I don't know. But the blue thing on the floor. Earl was not overfaced, but I was scared of messing up. And so we probably could have, halved the time that we got through that. Fun fact for you all, at one point Lucinda just walked in front of him and she said, sometimes you just need a human to help you. And I did try to show that in the video, but the videographer didn't actually catch that bit. Not her fault, there's a lot to capture. But it leads me into the things that you can also do to get other people to help you. Get someone to walk out on the ground with you. They need to be a specific type of person. They need to be someone that can bring out the calm side of you, that can register if that you're nervous. They know how to make you not nervous. For example, my friend Rachel has a fear of going in the school, and she won't mind me telling you this, but sometimes she says to me, can you come down to the school with me? And she'll just randomly say, you need to talk to me. And it'll just because in her head, she's thinking of the what ifs, and she wants you to take her mind off it. So Rachel's way of getting over that is for me to take her mind off it by talking absolute rubbish, which we're very good at, may I add, if you can't tell. The person you choose has to be someone who is the right type of person, not just somebody who's willing to come with you. You can go out with others and let you walk off away from them. Go and do part of the hack on your own, or even just go down a road and then come back very calmly and quietly. You don't have to do a complete solo hack on your own straight away. You can also get a professional, which is exactly what I did. And just because I did get a professional to help me doesn't mean that anything I'm saying right now is not valid. You do have to know that in the winter, Earl can be a very difficult horse. He is a competition horse. I did overhorse myself, and that's why I'm on a competition yard. My trainer is a professional producer. She has seen it all, and she knows Earl like the back of her hand. There is no point if your confidence is dented in yourself, your horse has dented their confidence too, and together, neither of you are helping each other. You need one of you to be confident in that. So sometimes you need a professional. For about a year, I could not hack whatsoever. Prior to that, I grew up in riding schools and riding other people's naughty ponies, so I never hacked alone. And then when I did get ill, I only ever hacked with others because I'd never hacked alone. But someone that was my confidence giver, her horse and her had an accident, and it put a mental block in my head. I physically couldn't leave the yard. I could event, but I couldn't go for a hack, not even with other people. I had a lot of work to do mentally to get over that. I don't know what happened, but my palms would sweat at the thought of it. So my trainer Claire helped me with all of that. She gave me access to 100 acres to go and hack round. He rode Earl first to ensure that obviously he was fine in all of these situations solo, because she was happy to do that, of course. You have to make sure that the professional is happy to take on your horse too. And she sent me on my merry way. She said, get around those fields, go as slow as you want to, but just go around them. He will keep you safe. He did try to pop up and spin. That is when you have to have that checklist. Connection, plug your butt, keep the cuddle, let's turn back around. If you have a horse that pops up and spin like Earl, you've got to keep those back feet moving. A lot of people will tell you not to circle them, but I will circle Earl if he's in one of those nappy moods. And every time after that circle, where it ends will be in the direction that I want to send him. I'm not shooting him off or anything like that. We're literally in walk, but it has always helped us. And now I can confidently tell you that Earl rears less and less. Obviously now I'm adventuring everywhere on my own. I took him on a few hacks on a few different routes. I can tell you now that I turn all of my routes into adventures, take random entrances into woods that are not even entrances, but I'm like, oh, this looks like an opening. I go on random roads and just find wherever it will take me. I implement a lot of what Lucinda taught me. So to keep my horse calm, I have to keep him thinking. We go through every single puddle. I do random lateral movements if he's getting a bit stressed so that his mind is taken off of being stressed. I let him look at things, and I'm kind to myself. If I'm really scared, sometimes I just sing. And I tell myself that it is completely normal and I don't care what anyone else thinks that is watching me. So I really hope that it helps, because it's taken me 10 minutes. Pop any questions you have. Maybe other people can help too. If you want me to demonstrate anything, let me know. Of course, make sure you're following to come along for the ride.